Time to start your most magnificent journey within.
Empathic practice.
Tonight, at Empathic Practice Dreams, I invite you to embrace uncomfortable situations.
Such as not being able to sleep, such as not being able to eat or sit in a room and feel comfortable in your vessel and in your own skin.
How do you challenge yourself, push yourself into experience things that elevate you, that help you evolve and grow? Managing stress in such a subtle way,
While others will do everything in their power to avoid awkwardness, some people find that they seek uncomfortable situations to spur growth.
how can we be like the sprouting seed that breaks through the soil so it can blossom? So join us in this not so soothing but a special environment that will make you contemplate those situations.
Love is where the healing happens, and no matter what tools that we're using, no matter what we're doing to help the body heal itself, which the body does, we're all our own healers. Acupuncture is one of the methods of helping the body do that. It helps it get back into balance so it can do what it knows how to do. To me, it's a partnership. I'm not authoritarian. We work together to heal that person, and they're the ones that heal themselves.
When you are awake, what does that mean to you? What is it that holds you together? Where are you between dream and wakefulness? Let yourself dream. Perhaps the living of your dream can become your sleep. And then your sleep is your dreams. And when you awaken, they are all the same. Imagine yourself expanding as you dream. Deep breaths in to an infinite expanse. Exhale, manifest outward. Do we need to be held together? Can we allow ourselves to become exponential? Each piece of us, always connected. Expanding. Allow yourself to be that which you are not. What does it mean to be you? How do you identify the difference between you and other? Everything that is just like us, just like you, just like me. But how could you ever see the whole you without seeing yourself from another perspective? From this next best self witness right here, right now place. Maybe we see our shadows. Maybe that proves our existence here as light. How could we form shadows without being light? This space that you consume just by being, are you separate from it? If you can feel a cool breeze, is your feeling separate from the breeze? And if your feeling is not separate from the breeze, are you separate from anything? Understand the waves that you make for yourself and for others. Because the waves that we make are all one. Expansive ocean of universe in some kind of fluid we don't understand yet. But the more that we know, the less we need to understand. Allow yourself non-understanding. See yourself from somewhere else.
One thing was certain. He'd never learn that way. Yes, Bill had a handicap. That handicap was fear.
Mo Root from Empathic Practice, cannabis educator, here with David Pierce from Harrow to Harvest Hemp Farm. Where do we go? Yeah, welcome. So Dave is out here in undisclosed Pensacola operating a hemp farm. What is the main difference between a hemp farm and a medical marijuana farm?
Well, okay, the industrial hemp is what we call, really CBD hemp or fiber hemp or grain hemp. All that is pretty much considered industrial hemp. What we grow here in that line of things is the CBD and CBG. And so all that, the farm bill back here, I guess it was 18, is what made it where we could legally, move forward. It took Florida another year to get it together to where we could start. So last year we were able to start growing, and we were growing outdoors last year. This year we're growing indoors.
If you think about places that are hit with, like oil spill, or places like Chernobyl with radiation poisoning, like what would be the application if we were able to take these plants, plant them somewhere that can reach full size in like 90 days? What would be the impact on cleaning up that environment?
That's exactly where I think the future in remedial cleanups is going. Mm-hmm. We have a few places right here in town that are Superfund sites, mm-hmm. where we had a creosote plant, one of them, and then they covered all that up and built apartments on it, and everybody got sick for 30, 40 years. Oh. And they finally shut them all down. But it's still a piece of land that can't really be used. But if you could come in and plant that thing in hemp, and you might have to do it 2 or 3 times, but if that can remove the creosote from the property, I mean, that's usable property again.
Well, yeah, and if you think about, say you did 2 or 3 rounds of a whole, like however many acres of hemp plant, it's still usable when you harvest it, because you can turn it into clothes, you can turn it into rope, you can turn it into paper, you can turn it into plastic,
That's
you can do
what's-
whatever you want with
right.
it. So it's almost just like, why are we not doing this?
It's crazy that we're not. It's just people don't know about it yet, and
No.
this is an immature business or industry
Mm-hmm.
that is yet to get even close to any kind of full potential. I mean, this is a brand new thing, so there's got to be the right studies done. We don't know exactly what's happening in the plant at this point. Say if you're using it on a diesel spill or something like that, what is it doing when it's pulling up the diesel and it's breaking it down inside that plant? We think it turns it to sugars, but we don't know what's taking place and how toxic the plant is at that point, or has it broken it all down and it's not toxic anymore? If that's the case, well, I mean, that's opening a lot of doors there, because right now we're having a problem getting the fiber market off the ground just due to lack of processing, lack of people really understanding the benefits of it.
How long have you had a beard for?
As long as I've been very uncomfortable in public.
So like 10?
9.5.
Have you ever like really looked at your own teeth?
Yeah. I don't like it.
We're back here today
We were here tomorrow.
and yesterday. Today, I want to go somewhere else.
Today, we go to a mountain.
A mountain? Is there grass in a mountain?
Sometimes.
That's fun.
Am I Chad?
You are Chad.
My hands are on my thighs.
You are Chad.
6 thighs?
Am I dreaming?
In the air?
What?
Were they sitting?
Yes.
With my father?
And his son. You.
Over the mountain.
This is actually a really big room.
Woo!
We don't have to stand this close.
Does Chad have curly hair?
The other day, someone told me that my dad vibe was too strong. And I told them, that's not my problem if you can accept my energy.
But you don't have kids.
That's the weird thing, right?
Have you ever been in a mountain?
Only as a son. It's not as uncomfortable as you think.
It's lovely. Like yesterday. Was Chad a mindset
Chad is a mindset.
as a child?
As tomorrow.
I borrowed my brother's boots to seem taller. And that way people respect me.
Well, that's why I grew a beard.
Do you want my beard?
I had your beard before.
You can't have it anymore. I need it back.
I don't want it anymore.
Good, because it doesn't really fit.
All that I want is to be in the peak of the mountain.
How long does that take?
The sun again.
Are you the son? Did you ask your father?
I did not ask my father.
Come on!
Oh, I know.
Mushrooms? Not so much.
Yeah, it's kind of weird with mushrooms. Makes me emotional.
It makes me Chad.
Emotional, Chad?
Chad.
What's the peak?
I'm confused.
Where are we going?
I have no clue.
Where have we been?
The mountain.
I knew it. If only, no.
I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with
My hands? Chad,
Chad?
you can get closer. Thank you.
That will be $500.
Like he would bark on your face. Like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah!" And that was not comfortable because every time I thought that he was saying, Chad!
Yeah,
And it lost its meaning more than once.
yeah.
And I
Chad.
don't want to
Chad, Chad,
get
Chad, 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 Chad,
personal because all that I can think is that I am Chad. I am in this state of mind that consumes me
State of
by
time.
staying in yesterday because I say yes to yesterday,
And no
living
to
in the past
tomorrow.
and just chatting around. It is chatter in my head where I cannot get myself out of it until things just move along and we can finally find out why are we doing this today, tomorrow, yesterday, grass, mountain, I don't know.
How did this start?
Chad,
We did a staring contest.
it was your idea.
How do we begin?
You started.
Have you ever really looked at your own teeth?
Popcorn.
Fear is healthy. I think we want to get rid of fear or transmute fear into joy, but like feeling a little scared to try something new is totally okay. Check in with yourself. Does it feel right for you right now? Be honest with yourself. Maybe that's no, but maybe it's yes, and I'll try small steps. So when a client comes to work with me, they can expect a palpable, transformative shift.
It could be a crowded space, silence, one other human in an elevator, or simply your thoughts. At some point, each of us feels uncomfortable. We may feel a restlessness settle in, darting our eyes to find a place for our attention, as our hearts begin to pick up pace and our hands get clammy. As you become aware of your environment, your brain is responding. Your billions of neurons are firing, putting your perception into place. In the body, this translates to stress. What is stress? Biologically, it is an organism's response to a stressor. These can be threats, challenges, or psychological blocks. Stressors prompt your body's chemistry to respond. There are two chemicals released when you experience stress: adrenaline and cortisol. And for humans, largely two major systems involved: your autonomic nervous system and your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, or HPA. These are responsible for your heart rate, respiratory rate, mood, and emotions, just to name a few. What does this mean for you? It means your body is ready to adapt to and navigate your environment. Stress and discomfort ask you to pay attention, to let your awareness guide your actions. These chemicals allow you to respond to whatever may come your way. While distress, stress that negatively affects you, is not your optimal state. Eustress, stress that positively affects you, can push you to grow when you need it. Perhaps in a crowded space, in silence, with one other human in an elevator, or simply your thoughts. Making space to be aware and mindful of your discomfort is key. You can push through that challenging workout, that awkward silence, that hard conversation, and become stronger, more patient, and more mindful in the process.
Tonight, we'll be reading The History of Magic by Eliphas Levi. Book 5, The Adepts and the Priesthood. Chapter 1, Priests and Popes Accused of Magic. We have explained that owing to the profanations and impieties of Gnostic, the Church prescribed magic. The condemnation of the Knights Templar completed the rupture, and from this time forward, compelled to seek concealment and plan revenge in the shadows. Magic ostracized the Church in turn. More prudent than those arch-heretics who oppose altar to altar in public day, and thus entail denunciation and the headsman acts on themselves, the adepts dissimulated their resentment as well as their doctrines. They bound themselves together by dreadful oaths, and realizing the importance of first securing a favorable view at the tribunal of public opinion, they turned back on their accusers and judges the sinister rumors by which they were pursued themselves, and denounced the priesthood to the people as a school of black magic. So long as his convictions and beliefs are not rooted in the irremovable foundations of reason, man ardently and indifferently desires both truth and falsehood. On either side, he finds that there are cruel reactions. Who shall put an end to this warfare? Only the spirit of him who has said, "Render not evil for evil, but overcome evil by good." The Catholic priesthood has been charged with the spirit of persecution, though its mission is that of the Good Samaritan, for which reasons is superseded by the unpitying Levites, who continued their way without extending compassion to him who had fallen among thieves. It is in the exercise of humanity the priests prove their divine consecration. Hence, it is a supreme injustice to cast upon sacerdotalism at large the crimes of certain men who are unfortunately sealed with the priesthood. For a man as such, it is always possible to be wicked, but a true priest is, on the contrary, always charitable. Now the false adept did not look at the question from this standpoint, for then the Christian priesthood was made void and was hence an usurping power since the proscription of the Gnostics. What say they is a hierarchy whose degrees are no longer regulated by conscience. Note, the reader should understand that Eliphas Levi is only giving expression to a point of view. It must not be supposed that there were adepts, either true or false, who said or thought the things which are here set down at the period in question, or indeed at any other period. The same ignorance of the mysteries and the same blind faith driving to the same fanaticism or the same hypocrisy the prime leaders and lowest ministers of the sanctuary. The blind are leaders of the blind. The supremacy between equals is no longer anything but the result of intrigue and chance. The pastors consecrate the sacred elements with a gross and disordered faith. They are jugglers in bread and eaters of human flesh. They are no longer thaumaturgists, but sorcerers. Such was the sectarian verdict. To support the calumny, they invented fables, affirming, for example, that the popes have been given over to the spirit of darkness ever since the 10th century. The learned Gerbert, who was crowned as Sylvester II, made confession, as it is say, to this effect on his deathbed. Honorius III, being he who confirmed the order of Saint Dominic and preached the Crusades, was himself an abominable necromancer, author of a grimoire which still bears his name and it's reserved exclusively to priests. Good night and good dreams.